welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. We're coming to you from Artesia General Hospital, and it's been a great morning so far. We've had some great guests. We had John Ross Knoll with the schools. We had Dr. Salgado, who's the CEO here. We had the mayor. This week he's the mayor. Next week he'll be the commissioner. John Henry's with us. And we have another one of the doctors here at Artesia General Hospital that's joining us, Dr. Couch.
Yeah.
We just had that discussion before we went on the air. There's no R in your last name. What?
Nope, just Couch, just like what you said on.
That's right. Well, welcome to the broadcast, and you're fairly new to Artesia. You've been here about a year now?
About a year and a half. I came in October of 2020.
Oh, what an exciting year.
Yes. Difficult year, yes.
So where are you from originally?
Originally I'm from Missouri, mid-Missouri. Born and raised there, went to school there at Mizzou, undergrad and medical school.
And then you went into the Air Force after that? Or?
After medical school, yes, I went into the Air Force and did my residency at Keesler Air Force Base and spent about 23 years in the Air Force. Retired in October of 2020. So, but we had been about the last 8 years at Holloman Air Force Base in Alamogordo.
Okay, so you've been in New Mexico for a little while.
Yes.
Experience our hot summers,
yes.
dryness and all that. So I got to ask you, being in the Air Force, Top Gun, is it a good movie or a bad story, or are you excited?
Well, that's Navy.
That's Navy?
That's Navy. That's not Air Force.
Oh.
So those are Navy planes and Navy things. So,
okay.
Yeah.
so we won't talk about the Top Gun movie, although the previews look kind of cool.
Oh, I know. It does look cool.
Yeah. Did you ever get to fly when you were doing that? Or?
No, I wasn't my thing. So I had some friends who were pilot physicians, but and did all sorts of stuff. But I just basically stayed in clinic and saw patients, so
Yeah.
which was fine.
No, that's fine. Well, who inspired you, or what inspired you to go into nursing or into the medical field?
I'd always really loved kids, and when I was I decided to go to medical school like late in my high school year, and then survived 4 years of college, and and really just loved being around kids. So kids are my thing. So and I love helping them, and on the medical side. So it's nothing fancy. I just really like it.
So when you got into this field, and it was to work with kids to become a pediatrician?
Yes.
That was the goal all along?
Yes.
So
Yep.
Nothing came along.
No.
Brain surgery. Or
No.
something.
No.
Yeah. So what's it like working with kids? Because I think I would blow up or have get angry or something like that. What's that like?
For me, it's the most wonderful thing. Nowhere else can you get hugs from 3-year-olds. And also, and help babies when they cry. It's the kids are the awesome part, and parents can be the harder part. So dealing with all that is complicated and fun and interesting, and everything's a little different, and interacting with them is always a little different. Even teenagers. So sort of moving your way through all that is part of what I love about what I do. Everything's a little different. You don't know what's coming in and how to fix what's coming in that day. So kids cry, and we give shots, and they cry, but knowing that what you're doing is helping makes a difference. So
yeah. And the last couple of years with the pandemic has been a real challenge for everybody,
yes.
as we know. What challenges have the kids faced? What have you been helping out in that area?
They've gotten behind on their shots somewhat, just because nobody was coming in, and it was hard to get in, and nobody knew when to come in. And so trying to catch people up on their well visits, and also just letting them know that they can come in and be seen and taken care of face to face. You can do so much. You can do a little bit over Zoom and on the telephone, but being seen face to face is a lot of times what they've missed out on through the pandemic, and getting their basics, the shots, their immunizations up to date has been hard. So trying to catch everybody up on that when they get their letters from the school saying they're behind. So
Trying to work with them, and you've got, how to do that, how to
yes,
get them caught up,
yep,
and all that. And I guess that's another thing to think about, because COVID-19 seemed to take over the whole discussion.
Yes.
If you got sick, it was COVID or
Right.
whatever. But there are other childhood diseases that they're still out there that
Yes.
parents need to be aware of, and kids still get immunized for, right?
Right, yes. So there's always tetanus around. You always need to have your tetanus shots. You need to have, there's always all the underlying pertussis and everything that we need to be protected against. And then as everybody's gone back, we've seen the resurgence of all the stuff that hasn't been here for the last year. The stomach bugs are back, and how to manage that. RSV, flu was very late this year, so all those things that were sort of hiding out in the background, and as we got together, sort of remixed everything. People have sort of forgotten, and they're a little more mean. The bugs seem a little more mean just because we're not. We haven't seen them. They haven't been sick with them for a while. So
right. That's an important part for. Especially the young people, I guess there's a certain amount of exposure that is not bad.
Yes.
Because it builds up immunity for
Right.
future exposures
Right.
and things.
So yeah, low grade getting some bugs that are around, some viruses help build up, so you're not as sick the next time, and so
Yeah.
it helps.
That's you forget about that. So for parents that have held up or are, like the schools had their come meet the first grade
Right,
teacher
right.
events this past yesterday. I think they had that. What do parents need to be thinking about now? What should they be seeing you or seeing their doctors about with their kids?
Summer's always a good time to get your well visits in. So you maybe have a little more time when school's out to do. We recommend an annual well visit, and then getting caught up on your immunizations if that's what they need, if that's what they want to do. I do support families that choose to have a different immunization schedule or choose not to have immunizations for their kids, so we can work through that and help them with that. But just getting their well visits in so we can see and address any issues they have, and they might not have any issues, but just make sure that they're growing well, and if any concerns come up, they know that they can come back and see me and we can sort through it.
So are you a one doc department, or do you have a staff that you work with?
I work with Memorial Family Practice, but I am the only pediatrician. So but we as a group, we take care of all the kids together. So
Yeah, so that's got to be, you never know what to expect each day, do you?
no, but that's part of the joy of taking care of the kids. So
Yeah. Well, that is great. What's it been like working here at Artesia General? I know you've had some other facilities that you worked with, but what's been great about here in Artesia?
I like small town atmosphere. I grew up in a small town. We've enjoyed moving here and being part of the small town, and then just getting to know your patients and knowing them and making it easy for them to come in and be seen. And Memorial Family Practice is a very good place. Everybody takes really good care of their patients and really cares about them and makes sure they get what they need. So.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Was there anything else you'd like to add, or any other stories you'd like to tell?
No, I think that's it. I just really love seeing kids, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to do it here in Artesia. So
the age group you get to see is what?
0 to 18.
0 to 18. Well,
Yes.
that's
A little bit of everything.
pretty big range there. Well, that's good. Flu was a little late this year, did you say?
Yeah, so we had flu 2 or 3 weeks ago. We had a round of like 5-year-olds that all had the flu. So I think it went through kindergarten, and it was late. First, I don't know why, but
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. Now, I happen to know a teacher, not in Artesia, but in Roswell, and it seems like whatever's going through the school, she brings home, and then she gives it to her husband, who then has to stay away from work. But are there things that parents need to be doing just to stay healthy, because they're going to be around all these sick kids?
So most of the time, parents have already had a lot of the stuff that your kids have, wash your hands and stuff like that, but you're sort of stuck with it. Even pediatricians, they say you get sick about every 3 years. So, and in between you have a sort of a gap because you've seen it and you can deal with it. But just washing their hands the best they can, and then pushing through when they do get sick. It's just because we all were home for so long, our bodies we're a little confused when we get sick right now. But if everything continues to stay open, it should be that colds are milder for adults. The gastric bugs are milder for adults, so that should get better, hopefully, if we stay open.
That's right. Well, I'm going to knock on wood here in my head and make sure we do that. Well, we're so glad you came in and talked with us today. We're so glad you're here at Artesia General, and we wish you continued success as you take care of all the little kids running around town.
Thank you very much.
All
Thank you
right.
for having me.
Dr. JoAnn Couch is with us here as we are broadcasting from Artesia General, and we've got about